I'll tell you another thing. We went to a house one day, and we were doing a warrant, and there was Doug and I, the chief and I, and he was going inside the house, and something went up. And I got out of the car and took my hat off and threw it in the car. And Doug always said, when I saw that hat come off, I knew it was serious business. Anyway.
Okay.
We ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Well, actually, we can't make a motion now because you just used all your time.
Thank you for your time.
You got your one paper on. This is the time again. Anyway, as you all well know, my wife and I are trying to open up a business, or want to open up a business at 1111A. It's not B.
That says B right now.
I know, but I think the correct address is A.
Okay.
And it's going to be a women's boutique store, basically purses, jewelry, wallets, hats, women's accessories, clothes, and that type of stuff. And there will also be some gently used items also. The building is being almost finished now, remodeled. New roof, new floor, new walls, central heat and air, the exit signs, the fire extinguisher. So it's basically going to be a brand new building. This is not going to be a junky thrift store type of deal. That's why we're getting it all remodeled, and that's why we chose this building. And we love the area. We've lived here for many, many years. When I came over to get the utilities opened, I was made aware that there was some type of ordinance on used items, which I was totally unaware of. And so I told Blythe, I said, we've already bought the, showcases and clothing racks and all the items needed, and then this came up. So I was told that I needed to come to the city council meeting and voice my request as an approval for you all to make it okay for us to open that business.
Yeah, and so kind of the steps we would be looking at, normally, ultimately, you would need to go before the P&Z to get that change, and then that recommendation would come to us. But I think what's happening tonight is staff is looking for a feel from council as far as if we think that's something for P&Z to pursue.
When that ordinance was originally done, wasn't it a percentage of used?
Yes. That I don't know.
It's like if you only got 30, whatever it was.
Yeah, it's only like 10%.
It's only 10%.
And the reason that I was a little confused is because, there's 4 or 5 different stores in the city that do that. They sell used stuff. Used. There's one right down the road here that, they bring all their junk
Outside.
up to the street almost. And you got another store that sells used furniture.
What percentage are you looking at?
Well, most is going to be new, but there is going to be some items that are going to be used.
It's going to be,
I don't know, 5, 10.
we may be, we're all close.
If he just said 5-10%, you said it's 10% right now.
Yeah, the 10% is all that's allowed in there. Yeah.
So if you're saying...
Yeah, it's mainly going to be new stuff.
Yeah, the only thing is that we had no clue on this.
Yeah.
Until I came to open up the water.
This is not the only one in town, like you said. I got several others going at the same time. Best way to handle this thing is through an SUP permit.
So we would
have to revise the text amendment for that to happen.
So
Marvin,
Because one of the things that I was wondering also, that these other businesses have to go through what I'm going through?
No.
So my question was, why am I here? And those 5, 6 businesses that are not very old did not have to go through this.
Most likely it's because you admitted it.
You're being honest.
You're being honest.
I don't say that. I don't know the other business owners from Adams, so they may very well have missed something in the paperwork, but most likely they did not write down the
I just don't want to be, I don't want to say punished, but for my honesty.
Right, no, absolutely. Well, I think from the sound of it,
Well, when you and I talked, you didn't know a percentage.
No.
You thought it might be 20, 25%, which is over it, so.
The
only thing is, how do we enforce that? How do we monitor that?
Yeah, that was exactly what I was saying, the one we were talking about on Ohio Garden, this lady literally sells used stuff.
stuff, and it's all, I'm talking from tires to bassinets to old bikes, and it looks like a garage sale every day.
I don't think she's got a new item in there.
No, she doesn't, it's all
Is
used
it next
up.
door to the church?
Yeah.
And, the place that's next to us, Athena's, that store there, I guarantee you 90%, 95% is used.
Yeah, that's true.
So how do they get away with that?
So that's what I'm saying,
Revamped.
that's where the confusion comes in, because I've been in that store, he sells a lot of furniture and stuff, but I would say 95% of it, it's all used.
It's 100%, but we do have a thing in there for collectibles, and his is like vintage stuff. But I will also say, I don't know Mr. Rodriguez like all of you, but I've been into his place now about 3 times, trying to meet him, and it's pretty obvious that it's not gonna be a junk thrift store there, so.
That's the whole reason for the whole remodeling. The whole building's gonna be redone.
Well, I think going forward for your case, since you said 5 to 10, I think you're fine. Y'all can give them authority to move on tomorrow. It's just in the future, for the other cases that are 100% junk, what do we want? Do we want to leave that as it is? Not junk, but resold. Do we want to leave that as is and request staff to enforce those? Or do we want to create an SUP?
I think the staff should be reinforcing anyways, especially, like this lady, I do not understand how she got away with it. I don't understand.
You know, they've all been sent letters to
Yeah,
tell the
but I'm saying,
people
this,
that they
she's been there for a
have.
while now, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think the lady that was before,
So I
me in the place
think,
where I'm at, she did the same thing.
I think we need to be real careful what we say, because one of these that you sent the letter to reinforce it was the church, that, it is much like Atomic. I mean, everything in there has been cleaned and is resold. It's not on the same level of basically having a garage sale every day in your front parking lot. And so I do think we need to look at how we're going to enforce this, because I think diligence is important, especially with this aspect of businesses. And it's not fair. If we're not diligent, it turns out not being fair to someone that has to go through something to get what these others who weren't honest.
I think what council was trying to do in the past was not have a situation like they had when they venture, whatever that thing was down there where AutoZone is now. That was a junk store, and they had
Like a good one.
questionable employees and people that went out. It was kind of like a Goodwill, but it was even lower than, and there was just, we were down there constantly on employee misconduct, stealing, whatever, and council decided, hey, we're not gonna have any more of these junk stores,
Like a flea market.
type thing in there. And I think that's, I wasn't on council then, but I think that's what they, I remember coming to the meetings, and the discussion was, we don't need more of
I
that.
think it's worthy of discussion. I mean, I don't think we totally reverse all of it, because it was put there for a reason. But as commerce has changed, and there, you know, my wife bought an old dresser that had been all fixed up, and it was super expensive. I mean, that's what these places are doing. They're taking this old stuff and redoing it all. And we need to change our rules to allow for what we want, to keep out what we don't want. Because I just want to remind, and as we're doing that, we may want to rethink the car thing, because, you know, we excluded all car. You know, it's a little bit odd to be talking about, we don't allow any new car business at all, but then we would be talking about letting in selling used furniture. Those seem to be opposed to one another to me. But my point is only that we look to take a comprehensive look at it once we go to do a text of it.
And it's not only furniture, I mean, accessories, jewelry that's vintage, clothing, hats, age and stuff. It's not only chairs and tables.
So going forward, let's, the bigger item, let's send, I think we need to probably ask P&Z's input on that, send it to P&Z, see what,
Send it to P&Z.
they can update it,
I just
but,
want the council to know it's,
and then I think tonight, we don't need any action, because
No.
if you're under 5-10%, you fit it as it is, and then.
Good.
Yep.
Okay.
as long
So
as.
you're going in where Raven's Moon
Yes.
was, is that right?
Well, we're cleaning that up.
That building, yeah.
You all had some fun with the lady there, right?
She came to us a number of times.